How to use arpeggios to play great guitar solos. So arpeggios are a great way to make your solos sound super melodic and less like a guitar scale. But the challenge here are the chord changes of the background music, because now you have to hit with 3 notes and you have to be aware of all of them at the same time, as opposed to using a scale where you can quickly resolve a wrong note to one of its neighbors and be fine 90% of the time. But if you're playing an arpeggio and you want to just play the chord tones, then that will probably, you have to think on 3 levels at the same time. You have to think 3 notes ahead. So for example, the A minor chord, it has the notes A, C and E in it, and if you want to play an arpeggio over the chord, you only want to hit those notes, right? So this is A, C, E, A, C, E, A again, and this implies, when you play arpeggios, that you're not just playing and holding out one note, but instead you play a consecutive flow of different notes. So for example, like this one. So you're not just playing one note of this, but you want to play a few, if not all of them. So maybe you don't want to, maybe make this bigger here. Maybe you want to play only up to here, to the C note, or even the full thing. So that means if you're using a wrong arpeggio shape, and I've explained the arpeggio shapes in a different video, but if you're playing the wrong shape, then or in the wrong place, then everything sounds totally messed up. So I want to show you a few cool ways to use the arpeggios in your guitar solos. So since this does not really come in the way when playing solos with a scale, because then if you're just noodling around and you're landing on this note here and you want to resolve it, just go to the neighbor note. Usually that works out. With a scale, you can just keep noodling until you have found a note that you want to hold on to for the moment, or you don't even stop noodling, you just keep playing no matter what the chord changes do. Or with arpeggios, instead of thinking 1 note ahead, now you have to think 3 notes ahead. So here are my favorite ways to use arpeggios in guitar solos, and the first one is to literally treat this shape here like a guitar scale. So when you're playing a guitar solo and you're used to the pentatonic shape, pentatonic patterns, you're basically just sticking to those notes. Now let's apply the same thing to this arpeggio here. So that means you would play only, now I already messed up here, played the D note here. That's not part of the arpeggio. We're gonna come to that later, but so I'm just messing around with the A minor shape and trying to find something catchy there. So if you restrict yourself in that way, that will help your creativity a little bit. And when playing with scales, you're basically not doing anything different. You're restricting yourself to the notes of the pentatonic pattern. So this is just a certain group of notes, and now you have a certain group of notes again. And especially when you're starting out with soloing and you don't have much experience, you stay with the same scale for an entire solo, mainly. It's rare that beginners learn that or know that you can change the scale depending on the chord that's in the background, but that's also a topic for another day. So just make sure you don't just stay at that level, but eventually level up. So for now, this is exactly what we do. So you pick this shape here or that A minor shape, and then there's one more that's not on the paper here. But you pick that shape and you try to play just around with this for a while and see if you can come up with something catchy just with the short note, with the chord tones. Now, it's much easier when your chord changes have notes in them that are shared with the arpeggio. So when you're playing a key of A minor and your backing track chords are A minor, F, in the F chord you share like 2 or 3 notes from the arpeggio, so that you can just resolve everything to the A note or the C note and you're good to go. But try that with an A minor arpeggio over a G chord. It's gonna be a lot more difficult. And now, in the second point, we build phrases around arpeggio shapes. So it works the same way as if you have a pentatonic scale. And you build phrases, but just with the arpeggio shape. And also means that we include some extra notes. So for example, here I have that extra G note in there, G, here. And that would sound pretty much like this. Already has a pretty cool ring to it. Or if we include the B note that's here, 12th fret, then it would sound like this. And you can put the notes in a different order. Pretty cool catchy melody already right there. You can use that theme and make a song out of this. Actually, if you do that, let me know, get in touch with me. I want to hear what you made out of this little phrase here. Gonna be cool to know. So the way to get started with this is really just play around with this only for a while. All those online guitar lessons videos and tutorials are fun and nice, and they are entertaining and everything, but they don't really, just from watching, of course, don't make you a better guitar player. Or if you just play literally the example of the video. So what I want you to do is take this shape and experiment around with it. Get creative. And I know get creative sounds kind of like a wishy-washy statement, but what that means, get creative, is create a lot of different stuff. And even if you throw away all those bad ideas later, that's fine, but you have to get the experience, and that you gain only by doing a lot just with this little restriction here. And then you move on to another note, and then maybe you can incorporate an F note here for the arpeggio. That sounds pretty cool too. Boom, boom. Yeah, we know what song that is from. So, and when you are comfortable with just playing with one extra note, then maybe you take 2 extra notes in there. So the G and the B, for example. Yeah. But the main rule, or not rule really, but my main advice is stay catchy. And my recommendation is when improvising and you get started with it, just use backing tracks that have only 1, maximum 2 chords, and the changes happen really slowly so that you can really identify with the chord and have time to adjust and yeah, get used to that chord and know how to make stuff sound good over just 1 chord. Number 3 will be superimposing chords for more flavor. And I have something for that right here, but we pretty much already did that, although not really obviously here. It was merely implied. So if we are having this A minor chord and we play it over an A minor, of course it will sound good, but if you play that A minor chord over a different chord, over the F chord for example, that's gonna be a different sound already. That's gonna give more like an F major 7. Sounds pretty mystical already. So I have those examples here. I'm gonna just play them through Guitar Pro now because I don't have a second guitar here. let's make me smaller. So let's listen to this just for a little moment. So this is the same arpeggio of a different chords, and now just wait. Actually,